What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome back to the tier list videos, where today, moving along in the positional rankings, we're taking a look at the linebackers. Now, these are not the 3-4 outside linebackers. Those players were included in the edge rushing video. These are guys that cover the inside, the leaders of the defense, the quarterbacks of the defense. And we got 36 linebackers. A lot of teams had 2 players. I don't think anyone had 3. Oh, we have one team with 3, and it's the Dallas Cowboys, and that is disgusting to even think about. So yeah, man, let's go. This linebackers are a very, very difficult position because, you know, box score doesn't always tell the truth. The linebacker that might have 170 tackles might actually be garbage, and those tackles are like made up tackles and stuff like that. So like it's one of those positions that all the big time stats, you know, it doesn't always tell the story. So I did use Pro Football Focus to kind of help me differentiate between, you know, S, A, and B more than obviously the bottom tier of the list. Then, as usual, how we like to start these videos, I like to get an S and an F so you kind of know the parameters that we are working within. So to get an S tier, we're gonna go down here, grab Mr. Bobby Wagner, and put him up there in S tier. Coming off an incredible season last year. Like, low-key might have had a shot outside of Aaron Donald winning Defensive Player of the Year. Bobby Wagner, last year, he brought in, and just, you know, casually, 138 tackles, had a pick, 11 pass breakups, forced fumbles, 6 tackles for loss. Does it all. I think, I don't know if I could say he's the outright best linebacker in the National Football League, but if he's, you know, it's like, I think it's a 1A, 1B scenario with another linebacker that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Finding a linebacker that we put into F tier, I'm going to put Rueben Foster here. Rueben Foster still deserves to make the list because his rookie year was sensational. But all the off-field issues, I mean, I kind of feel like, yeah, he did get off. Didn't get, well, phrasing. He didn't get those big charges against the woman, but it all kind of blew up. Nothing really stuck. So, I mean, you know, I guess credit to the Redskins for taking the gamble and believing in him. But it's not the first time he's had some on-the-field issues. You know, you can't fix stupid. But still, we'll put him in F tier for now. And if he can, you know, get everything back on track, he's going to fill in nicely for Zach Brown for the Washington Redskins. So now jumping to the list. First up, we have Lorenzo Alexander of the Buffalo Bills. And we're actually going to start with a surprise. I'm putting him in A tier. I think he is really, not I'm going to think he's really underrated because like last 2 years, he's been really good in getting a lot of momentum for the Buffalo Bills. But last season, he was Pro Football Focus's number 5 linebacker, 74 tackles, 2 interceptions, 9 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, 6.5 sacks, 11 TFLs. So he was all over the place. Dropping back into coverage, he made some plays. Tackling in the backfield, he made some plays. I feel like because of his age, if we're talking about, you know, he's probably B tier. But given living in the moment, if you will, I think he's done enough to crack up into this A tier and be regarded as one of the better linebackers, if not one of the best linebackers in the National Football League. I think you can't put a whole lot of weight in a Pro Football Focus, but his box score stats in terms of pass breakups, interceptions, tackles for loss, and sacks are right up there with any linebacker we're about to talk to. And then give credit where credit's due to the PFF nerds. They end up coming in number 5. And like, not always do the linebackers with really, really big time stats do well and grade out well for Pro Football Focus, because, you know, obviously you can do the eyeball test, which is what I do for a lot of these players. You can look at the box score for a lot of these players, but there's a whole bunch about coverages and pressures and stuff like that that the Pro Football Focus nerds go into, and they really regarded Lorenzo Alexander in that area too. So I'm going to give respect where respect is earned, and I'm putting Lorenzo as an A. Next up, we have Nigel Bradham of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm actually got to put him way down in D tier. 2 years ago, this was 2 years ago, the Super Bowl year, he'd probably be a C, maybe a fringe B, but last year after he got his big contract, wasn't nearly as good. I mean, still a decent linebacker, still a good linebacker, but it was just, you know, he was good in coverage 2 years ago, just had issues dropping interceptions. Last year, inconsistent. He was just inconsistent last season. That's all we could say. And the fact that he got his big contract, we thought he'd take his game to maybe to another level, and that unfortunately wasn't the case. But he still is a decent linebacker, enough to make the top 36 in the National Football League. I'd say he's between 20 and 35 in that range. So we're putting him in at D. Next up, we have the brand new linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, Mr. Zach Brown. And I'm actually going to put him up here into, I'm not going to overrate, I'm going to put him B tier. He was the number 3 linebacker for Pro Football Focus, 96 tackles last season, 2 forced fumbles, 10 TFLs. Just from my eyeball test, is he really the 3rd best linebacker in the National Football League? While I appreciate you know, the PFF grades coming to my Philadelphia Eagle player. I'm not going to overrate him too much. I think B tier is fair, though. I mean, he's a good sideline-to-sideline linebacker. When he was coming out of North Carolina, he was super, like, the most athletic one of the most athletic linebackers I've seen during the draft process. Like, he was the first wave of that little bit of undersized safety-ish linebacker, even though he never played safety. But you know what I'm saying? Those linebackers that are sub 240, run really, really fast. He was kind of like the first wave of that. I'm going to put him B tier. I'm very excited to see what he can do with the Philadelphia Eagles as he has to come in and replace Jordan Hicks. Next up, we have Vontaze Burfict. I'm going to put him D tier for now, just because he's been obviously struggling to stay on the field. This was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He might be BA tier. He's a tackle machine. It's just he struggled to stay on the field, and now he's trying to recoup his career, restart it in Oakland, soon to be Las Vegas. So I'm going to put him D tier, and if he stays on the field and establish himself like I think he will, because I've been a big fan of Vontaze Burfict since Arizona State, he can definitely start to creep his way up. C to definitely, I'd say, B tiers, where, if he was in his prime, if he's been on the field, he's been playing, he'd probably be B tier, but for right now, he's got to go D. Next up, we have Devin Bush, rookie. We're going to put the rookies in F tier. You just never know with rookie linebackers. They could be as good as the crop of rookies that we got last year, or they could just struggle with coverage, look oblivious, and run around like a chicken with their head cut off. So I'm actually going to find Devin White as well, because linebacker is such a tricky position. I think both these guys are very talented linebackers, but linebacker is one of the more tough positions for whatever reason, transitioning from college to the pros, because either you get it or you don't your rookie season. And just because that unknown uncertainty, even though I think they're both very, very talented, I'm going to have to put them in F tier until we see if they can live up to the expectations that last year's class of rookie linebackers set. Next up, we have Vontae David. I'm putting him A tier. Really, really good linebacker. Has played on some pretty bad defenses. 120 tackles last season, 3.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. It's going to be interesting to see how he fits in that new 3-4 defense. I assume he's going to be inside, even though all the depth charts I've seen that aren't behind paywalls still has him an outside linebacker. He's going to probably play inside with Devin White. I think that's going to be in an incredible linebacking tandem. It's just more so, is the rest of that defense going to be ready and where it needs to be from that 4-3 to a 3-4 transition? But as long as you have an absolute monster like Vontae David back there, you're always going to have that really high IQ, talented QB of the defense that can help get everyone in line. Next up, we have Todd Davis from the Denver Broncos. We're going to put him D tier. He had a productive season last year. 114 tackles, 7 pass breakups, had a pick, 5 TFLs. He's just a nice linebacker. It's one of those things, the other guys around him make it easier. Having Von Miller and Bradley Chubb bringing the pressure, it's just, it's a lot less responsibility than if, say, you were Levante David, where the help was not always there, especially when when Quan Alexander wasn't reliable in terms of his health. So I'll put Todd Davis here at D tier. Next up, we have Demario Davis from the Saints. I'm putting him B tier. I think he's really, really underrated. I was surprised. Underrated's a key word, but I was surprised because he straight up had a good year with the Jets and waited real late into free agency to get picked up by the Saints. Then went to the Saints and really helped solidify that defense last season. I think he had what was his stats last year? Where we got him here somewhere. I wrote these down because I tried to be special. 110 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, 5 sacks, 11 TFLs. Yeah, he's good. He's real good. Next up, we have Tremaine Edmonds of the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to put him D tier. Good rookie season. Last season, 121 tackles, 2 picks, 12 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks, 5 TFLs. I mean, Sean McDermott gets the most out of his linebackers. We have Lorenzo Alexander, who had an exceptional year up here today. I think Tremaine Edmonds is well on his way of, that linebacking rookie core last year of Edmonds, Roquan Smith, Darius Leonard, Leighton Vander Esch. It's like the, 2012? 12 or 13 or 14, whatever year. I feel like I mess it up every time. That had the Odell, Mike Evans wide receiver class. Last year's class of linebackers is going to be regarded as that new class. But Edmonds, D, he's well on his way to working his way up, especially if he revises this, halfway through the season next year. Next up, we have Jordan Hicks, who's left my Philadelphia Eagles to join the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to put him. I'm going to put him at C. I think talent-wise, he's B tier. I think he was number 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that range for Pro Football Focus last year. I know as an Eagle fan how good he is. He just can't stay healthy. You cannot. Talent is B. He is upside to be A. 3 years ago, he was ridiculous. He just cannot stay healthy. So I had to put you at C. That's the only reason why he's in C tier. But Jordan Hicks is a really nice linebacker. 91 tackles, 5 pass breakups, 3 sacks last season. Really good in coverage, but can't stay healthy. We have Myles Jack here. I'm going to put Myles Jack. You know what? This might be hard. I'm putting him F tier. I've never been overly impressed by watching him play. I've seen him, like, he's supposed to be this big guy, but covering tight ends and stuff like that because he's so athletic. I'm not going to, I just miss it. Maybe he's, for me, every time I've watched him play, he's just been in Telvin Smith's shadow. Last season, Myles Jack, 107 tackles. That's pretty much it. Literally had one of everything, one interception, one pass breakup, one forced fumble, one sack, one TFL. I'm not gonna lie, I just don't buy the hype. He's a good linebacker. Like, this list is about the best linebackers in the league in terms of when you're getting to the nitty gritty and trying to rank the really, really good ones. I kind of have him at the lower tier. We have Jared Davis from the Detroit Lions. I'm going to put him F tier as well. As much as that page would say, no bias. Obviously, Florida Gator. I loved him in Florida. 100 tackles, 5 pass breakups, 6 sacks, 10 TFLs. He's just really, really one-dimensional and is really bad in coverage. So, you know, until you get well around his game, hopefully he can put it together. Matt Patricia can develop him into somewhat of a nice zone linebacker. He gets picked on. He's a target right now for the Detroit Lions. That's why they used a high pick on Tavai out of Hawaii, because, you know, the teams, you know, he can tackle as good as long as the play's in front of him. Jared Davis is really good, but as soon as teams start picking on him in the pass game, you're kind of a weak link. And for that, until you get that more consistency to your game, more well-roundedness, you have to, unfortunately, as a Gator, got to put you in F. Next up, we have Jaylon Smith of the Dallas Cowboys. I'll put him in C tier. I'm not going to be biased against the Cowboys. He was the number 6 linebacker for Pro Football Focus. When he was coming out of college at Notre Dame, he was one of the most talented linebackers I've ever seen. So as much as I hate to say anything positive, I'm kind of glad in a way, just as a football fan, that he was able to recover from the really bad injury he suffered his final year at Notre Dame and put it all together and start to show that potential. 121 tackles last year. 4 sacks, 6 TFLs, 4 pass breakups. Like I said, number 6 Pro Football Focus. The future's looking bright for these Cowboys linebackers. Next up, we have Deion Jones of the Atlanta Falcons. He's going A tier. Missed, I think he only played in 6 games last season. Still in 6 games, 53 tackles, 2 picks, 6 pass breakups, a fumble, a sack, a TFL. Yeah, I think Debo's almost as good as it gets at the linebacker spot. He's going A tier for me all damn day. Next up, we have, who we got here? Eric Kendricks, D tier. You know, productive linebacker. Somewhat limited of an athlete. You know, but he's good enough. You know what I'm saying? 105 tackles, 3 picks, a couple pass breakups here and there. He's just a really solid middle tier of the best linebackers in the National Football League. We got Luke Kuechly. He's going S tier. You know, I said 1A, 1B for the best linebacker in the National Football League. You know, pick your different strokes, different folks. I think if you want a better cover linebacker, you're going to go Bobby Wagner. If you want a guy that, you know, just can make plays in the backfield, you probably want Luke Kuechly, even though they're both also good at those other things too. But last season, Luke Kuechly, 130 tackles, 1 interception, 6 pass breakups, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 20 TFLs, number 2 for Pro Football Focus. Like, these two are really in a class of their own. We have Sean Lee. He's going to go F tier. I mean, when healthy, Sean Lee is really, really good, but kind of like Jordan Hicks, he literally is like the most injury-prone linebacker in the National Football League. So I have to respect by putting him in this list, but he's going F because he can't stay healthy. We have Darius Leonard. I'm putting here an A because it's the most... I don't want, like, you know, in my other tier lists, I always say one-year wonders go C or B. But Darius Leonard, obviously, some bias because my adopted son, he had the most ridiculous rookie linebacking season I have ever seen in the... How many years have I been watching football? 15, 14 years that I've been watching football. Last year, Darius Leonard, 163 tackles, 2 interceptions, 8 pass breakups, 4 forced fumbles, 7 sacks, 12 TFLs, was number 7 for Pro Football Focus. I'm putting him at A, and I'm not even going to defend myself. He is A tier entering the next season. Corey Littleton of the Rams. We'll put him D. Really, really productive year last year. 125 tackles, 3 picks, 13 pass breakups, 4 sacks, 9 TFLs. Let's just wait and see if he can keep that consistency up to move his way up this list. We have Leighton Vander Esch. If I'm putting Darius Leonard A tier, Leighton Vander Esch is going A tier as well. I mean, as an Eagle fan, he just made plays. It felt like on third down, he like hulked up and took his game to another level. And as a rookie, that is scary to have that happen. And it's even more annoying because I had him mocked and he was like my dream pick for the Eagles 2 years ago. But Leighton Vander Esch, 140 tackles, 2 picks, 7 pass breakups, 2 TFLs, was number 4 linebacker for Pro Football Focus. I'm buying in the hype, man. Last year's linebacking class was ridiculous, and Darius Leonard and Leighton Vander Esch were the cream of the crop. Blake Martinez. I'll put him at C. He's a tackle machine for the Green Bay Packers. Doesn't really offer a whole lot else beside that, but I got to reward a guy that has like almost 300 tackles in the last 2 seasons. Last year, Martinez, 144 tackles, 10 TFLs. So we'll put him C tier. We have Bernardrick McKinney. I'll put him D. Maybe that's sleeping on him a little bit. I know he graded out well from Pro Football Focus. 105 tackles, 7 pass breakups, 5 TFLs last season. But I'm more so holding the fact that he plays with, like, he has so much talent around him. Kind of makes his job easier. I don't know if that's fair to hold it against him, but I'll put him D tier for now. We have CJ Mosley. I'm going to put Mosley... he's a tweener between B and A. For right now, I'll just keep him at B. I think he's a little bit overrated given the fact about this contract. That contract he got was absolutely ridiculous, but it was the market. It is what it is. But last season, 105 tackles, 5 pass breakups, 6 TFLs. It was coming off a little bit of a down year. That's all I'm going to say. I like CJ Mosley. I think he's underrated. The fact that, like, in Madden and stuff like that, they always have him. They dogging him on his ratings and stuff like that. But I think he's B. He's a fringe. He's between B and A. But coming off last season where it was a down year, and then he's still got a big payday, I'm going to hold that against him just a tad and put him B, but still, like I said, a top 10 linebacker in the National Football League. Alec Ogletree of the Giants. Put him D tier, I guess. I was going to have him F, but just I got to reward the stat. His cover stats, I don't even know if they were lucky, but you can't fluke. I just feel like it's really hard to fluke your way into 93 tackles, 5 picks, 8 pass breakups, 6 TFLs. It's good enough to go into D. It was a terrible defense. He had plenty of chances to make a bunch of plays, but I'll reward him for the picks. We have, Jesus Christ. I always mispronounce his name, and I love watching them play. Patrick Onwuasor for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm giving him credit, though. He probably wouldn't make anyone else's list, but I'm putting him in F tier. 1 to watch. I think he's going to have a huge year for the Baltimore Ravens this upcoming season. We have Roquan Smith. I'll put Roquan. He'll go D tier for now. I'm going to put him in the same category as Tremaine Edmonds. I think the future is bright, trending in the right direction. Part of an incredible linebacker class. Joe Schobert. He'll go C tier. Very similar to Blake Martinez. Just a tackle machine over the last couple of years. 103 tackles, 6 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, 3 sacks last year with the Cleveland Browns. Kind of the leader of that defense. We have Telvin Smith. I'll put Telvin Smith into B tier. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to be playing football next season. But, really exciting sideline to sideline type linebackers. Again, kind of the mold, like I said, with Zach Brown. That real safety build, but I play linebacker. Like, he was kind of one of the front runners of that style and build. Last season, 134 tackles, 2 picks, 4 TFLs. A little bit of a down year for everyone on that on the Jaguars defense, but Telvin Smith still had a pretty good showing. We have Danny Trevathan. I'll put him D tier. He's been a pretty good linebacker. I think the combination between him and Roquan Smith is pretty nice. Last season, Trevathan, 102 tackles, 6 pass breakups, 8 TFLs. He's just a really, really solid linebacker. We have Kyle Van Noy. Again, I don't think he's going to make many people's linebacking list rankings. I just think he's kind of underrated, so I wanted to put him on here, even if it's just in the F tier. I think he, for a guy that was such a misused talent with the Detroit Lions, the fact that he seems to just make plays in the right time. He's a clutch linebacker for the New England Patriots. I guess I didn't put him on this list, but you probably put Hightower there in F as well, as even though he's having a little bit of a down year after coming off an injury. We have Fred Warner from the 49ers. I'll put him F tier. Seems to be a pretty good player, making 49er fans feel okay about cutting Rueben Foster because it looks like Warner's able to step into his shoes. Maybe not as high of a level, may not have as high of a ceiling as Rueben Foster, but I think Fred Warner is one of the better young linebackers in the National Football League. We have Avery Williamson. We'll put him D tier. Last season, after getting some pretty decent money for the New York Jets, Avery Williamson came up with 120 tackles, 6 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, 3 sacks, 6 TFLs. Really productive player, and I think the future is very bright for that Jets linebacking core with him and CJ Mosley. The visual list, we have Wesley Woodyard of the Tennessee Titans. We'll put him D tier as well. Really solid linebacker, 113 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 5 TFLs last year for the Tennessee Titans. Can make plays and really good sideline to sideline. So there you go, guys. Those are my linebacking tiers for the National Football League as we get ready for the 2019 season. If you agree or disagree with any of the ratings you saw here today, let me know in the comment section below. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of debate about these D's and F's, and maybe some of the guys that weren't included. Maybe someone's going to say Lorenzo Alexander in A tier. That is ridiculous. Let me know. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, it is C4 saying peace